Hello, late night listeners. This is Brian, and I wanted to let you know that we have a Patreon. It's a really fun thing. It's a great way to support the show, and it gets you access to all kinds of exclusive stuff. We have exclusive mini episodes. We have videos of me, for example, writing music for various things of the show. Leighton's doing all sorts of stuff, and it's just a really fun community. You also get access to our Discord if you sign up for our $5 a month tier or up. So if you like the show and you like what you hear, please check us out over on Patreon. It's really a great way to support us. Thanks so much, and enjoy Late Night with Brian Wecht. It's my Don Pardo impression. Hi, Leighton.
Hi, Brian.
So we are here at Get This Copyright Claim Central, which I just realized as the Spice Girls come on. Oh, this is the Twerp VIP show. I don't think we can record this, so we'll talk to everybody after this happens. All right, so we are out here after the Twerp VIP set. We're recording for the podcast, so for our two friends that are here with us right now, you know what we're doing. We're trying to get enough phone recordings together for an entire podcast episode.
But not too much to kill Jared.
That's right. So, friends, do you want to introduce yourselves?
Hey, I'm Vernon Shaw. You remember me from other late nights.
Do you want to say that like way louder?
I'm Vernon Shaw, and I'm so stoked to be here in Tampa Bay, Florida, here for Creator Clash and also a Twerp show.
And I think our fourth friend may not want to introduce himself at the moment.
But he is here.
And let's just say he's a good friend and a very talented musician. Great.
Brian,
yes.
What are your feelings on Creator Clash tomorrow?
I'm looking forward to see some people I've wanted to punch get hit.
Very, very true.
Yes. We're in Florida. Everything's cool here.
We're coming at you live from Tampa, Florida. Yep. I wish we were anywhere else, but I'm happy to be here with our friends.
We've been having a great time.
And two whiskey cokes in, vibing.
Yeah, that's right. So that's good enough. I'd like to hang out with our friends now.
Yeah, that would be better than doing the podcast.
Not that we don't love doing the podcast.
Much love to listeners, but
stop by later. I'll give a couple fight predictions.
Yeah.
Shit.
We'll talk Creator Clash. I'm gonna be there in Aaron's corner. This is coming out afterwards, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna be in Aaron's corner.
Creator Clash is tomorrow. How long do you think it takes us to edit these?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Jarek's really good at editing. Do you hear that, Jarek? I love you so much, Jarek.
We love you, Jarek.
I really
You're incredible.
enjoyed being your friend. You're a great addition to my life.
Thank you for cutting out all of my sniffles. You're an absolute champion.
All right. We are coming to you live from my hotel room.
From a trash can.
Yeah, the computer's on a trash can. We're at one of Tampa's
premier
old hotels. And we were about to head over to Creator Clash in, I don't know, half an hour or so. And last night was the Twerp show, so I guess we could debrief about that.
Yes,
briefly.
That was the plan. I think we got all of 10 seconds of audio before copyrighted music started playing in the background.
So, what did you guys think? You were
awful
contestants on Is It Mayo Live?
It was fine.
And it was mayo. I gotta say, folks at home, Is It Mayo is not that bad.
Thank you.
I swallowed it, and it's the coating of mayo on your mouth afterwards that's the killer.
And also, I knew that you had planned to do that, but you want to swallow the mayo. And you went first, and then because you swallowed the mayo, I had to swallow the mayo.
I did say spitting is for quitters.
Yes.
Which
got a cheer from the crowd.
It definitely did.
You're goddamn right.
But yeah, so the order, it was Leighton, who I gave a moderate amount of mayonnaise.
Yes, because I asked specifically because I was planning to be a cretin on stage, so.
But you did great. And then Vernon, who I gave merely a lot.
I would describe it as a glob.
A glob.
A globbing mouthful.
And then Vaughn, who was an audience member, joined us on stage, and they got a hell of a lot of mayo.
A Hellman's a lot?
Yes, a Hellman's a lot of mayo. And was a very good sport about it. So thank you, Vaughn, if you're listening to this. You know what? Should I say the shtick with Is It Mayo? Let's just say the audience...
Don't let him...
The audience reaction was great.
A magician never reveals his secrets.
Right. And I'm a comedy magician, right?
Brian, what did you think of Trey Magnifique's set?
Me personally?
Yeah, did you like it?
I liked his set a lot. As a fellow jazz beau, I appreciated what he was trying to do. Let me say that. What did you think, Vernon? Of Trey Magnifique?
I don't know, man. Like it was.
Well, what was it? Do you want to describe it?
Trey Magnifique comes out in a white blazer and not much else. Except
pants. There were pants.
Yeah, there were pants.
Were involved. I think
sunglasses and an attitude.
Yeah.
All right. A smooth jazz attitude. There was a moment at the very beginning of the set when Trey began playing and just did a really sensual lick of a soprano saxophone. And it's just something I'll never forget.
Yeah, that's my thought. I thought Trey was too sexual, and I found it really bawdy and crass and unacceptable for...
That's smooth jazz. I don't know what to tell you, Layton. Like, if you can't handle the heat, stay out of the jazz kitchen.
Oh, speaking of heat...
oh my God!
It was fucking hot in there. It's hot here.
Look,
muggy.
As someone who has performed in many a club, including with Twerp, that was all-time levels of bad in terms of hot.
That's Bill Hader's Stefan hottest club in Tampa, Florida.
Because it was sold out, and it was hot and muggy outside, and then it had to be 20 degrees hotter inside.
Gosh, yeah. We listened to most of the Twerp set just outside, just because I think anything else we would have just turned into puddles.
Yeah, we were choking down glizzies. That's hot dogs for you dilettantes.
Glizzy?
Yeah.
Just
what?
Going straight from swallowing to glizzies,
Throat
man.
goat, glizzies.
Yeah.
Just
I've never
sucking
heard
it down.
that. Where are you getting glizzies?
Glizzy is a
from?
New York term.
Is it what?
Yeah, 100,000%. Yeah.
No, you're making this up.
No, you're kidding? You're not a glizzy globlin?
Well, of course I'm a glizzy.
You're not
I've never heard it.
like.
It's not a New York term.
100,000% glizzy is a New York thing.
If the internet worked in this hotel, I would look it up right now.
I will reveal this. I bought Brian a hot dog.
Yes, she did.
And he didn't put mayo on it.
And I could have, because there was mayo.
There were packets.
It was a good hot dog, actually.
It was so...
really
I had
good
two
hot
of
dog.
them. They were amazing. Better than the Twerp show. That's a lie. We were there for the VIP show also, which is top secret, but it was amazing. And I put a question in the Q&A box, and they answered it, and it was to my satisfaction. So
it was great.
They answered mine too.
Yeah.
And
was yours also from Brent Lilly?
No, it was just from me, and I asked them if they smoked weed, and they told me they can't say.
They did say honking on that bobo, though.
Honking on that bobo, yeah.
They answered Trey Magnifique's question.
What was Trey's question?
What is jazz, man?
All right.
And what Dr. Sung said, which I thought was an amazing answer, was jazz is what happens when you take music and you push it down the stairs. Which I thought was really great. So, yeah, I love their VIP. They play songs, they take questions, a shocking number of which were vetoed, because they can veto a question during the Q&A.
Yeah. I liked the alternate of if it was not vetoed, it was free-toed.
Yes, that was great. Actually, so their VIP, because I've seen them do this before, inspired how we do the NSP VIP now, too, which is people, write questions, or in our case, now submit them like via a Google form, and then we can go through and pick the ones we most want to answer and reject the rest. It's both a way to whittle out, shall we say, weird questions, and also, honestly, more than weird, the questions that we filter out are just the ones that have been asked a billion times. And so it's
What are some songs that you never made?
Yeah, which I'm of two minds about, because they're genuine questions and people like to know the answers. But also, as performers, at some point you want to do what's most fun for you.
Yeah.
And one thing that was amply evident at the Twerp show, which I say as a compliment, is they are having fun. Right?
Yes.
A lot of fun. It's so much fun.
It's fun to watch friends have fun. It's fun to watch people have fun.
Yes. I don't personally like having fun.
No.
But I do like
I
to
think
watch
it's
other
unsafe.
people have it. As long as I'm in a good mood. If I'm in a bad mood, I see people having fun and get homicidally angry.
It was nice to meet a lot of people, including a few podcast listeners last night.
Oh,
On
really?
the show, yeah.
None of them talked to me.
Well, they said woo. I didn't meet them
You got a
personally.
woo, yeah. You got a couple
I
woos.
did hear the woo, but I thought that was just a general affirmative woo.
Oh, it might have been.
Out of
politeness. You're right.
politeness.
Nobody came up to me and said, I listen to the podcast. And more people than I expected wooed when we mentioned it.
Yes. What's the presumptuous when you hate yourself? Just assuming that everybody's just being polite.
You're a self-loathing woo?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's all on the spectrum of the woo girl versus the boo girl.
Wait, with the
Woo girl versus boo girl.
Talk about this.
You got a woo girl. It's,
That's like a drunk lady who's going, woo!
Yeah, 100%.
And I gotta say, I'm a woo girl. I'm a big time wooer.
Of course.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes in the dark days, you're a boo girl.
Which is?
Boo.
Not boo-hoo.
no, completely different.
What are your predictions for Creator?
Oh, hey, this is Vernon. It's weird because I talk to you guys about this all the time, but I don't think I've ever said it on the internet. But I've been boxing since I was in college, and I've been helping Aaron train for the past year and some change for the first Creator Clash, and now for this Creator Clash. I am completely confident in my fighter's ability to win the fight. If you look closely at the replay, you'll see me in Aaron's corner. I'm one of his cornermen.
Is Twerp in the corner too, or are they just walking out?
They're walking out, but they get to jump into the ring, I think.
Nice.
Maybe. Don't quote me on that.
Who are his other cornermen?
It's me and his trainer, Ricky O'Kane.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Who,
Shout out to Ricky.
Who we had dinner with the other
rules.
night.
I think
nice
he's
guy.
great. That man is enigmatic.
Yeah, he doesn't give you a lot to work with conversationally, but seems like a very nice
But boy,
guy.
can he punch. So
And
yeah.
he's got great comedic timing.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. So yeah, I might eat my words in a couple hours, but I'm completely confident in Aaron's ability to win this fight, and I'm really excited to see my guy just do work.
Do you have any other Creator Clash predictions?
I think Ethan's got it. I got to spar with Ethan as well, and that kid's got that dog in him, man. That guy's been working out like crazy.
He's pretty shredded right now.
What fight do you think has the highest possibility of both people getting very fucked up?
Nathan Barnett versus AB. Those are two,
yeah.
without a doubt, two people who just do not back down. So
They're like the Brian Wex of boxing.
100,000. Yeah, you get it.
Yeah.
Of
course I get it.
Yeah, that's what I'm legitimately worried about. Those are two guys with God, just they won't quit. They won't quit. So cross your fingers for that. I had a very long conversation with Marisha Ray just today. I fed her a hot pepper years ago, back when I ran Hot Pepper Gaming. But yeah, I had a long conversation with her, and she talked to me about her training, and
She's the best.
yeah, man, I'm rooting for her. She's got some moves that she can show off at this one.
Yeah.
But yeah, altogether, this year's Creator Clash, I think it's just an entirely different breed of influencer boxer. I think people are taking it very extremely seriously.
It's amazing how seriously.
So I'm really excited to see what people are pulling out here.
It's gonna be awesome.
Hell yeah! All right, and now I gotta run to my room, and then I'll see you guys.
All right, we'll see you over there.
Hell yeah, Denver.
Have fun.
Bye.
Here. Bye, Vernon.
Goodbye. I don't know about you. I never want them to come in and clean the room. I just need to be a pig.
I like it. I do
Really?
like it, and I've noticed. So some hotels since COVID, some hotels now, the default is they don't do it. At the same time, I will always hang my towel because it's stupid to wash a towel after one use.
Yeah, exactly.
But I will admit, I like it when the bed is made up. I think that's a nice thing.
I make my bed. I don't have sheets. I have a fitted sheet and then a chenille blanket and then a duvet. But I feel so restricted in a hospital bed.
Wow.
In a hotel bed, I gotta kick it out of the tuck.
Yeah, well, that's the part. Yeah, tight tuck in a hotel bed is sometimes you don't notice it until it's too late. Right, and then you're trapped.
Yeah, trapped forever, never to leave the bed.
And these beds, look, this hotel has some of the, shall we say, firmest beds I have ever experienced.
I got an Airbnb because they were out of hotel rooms, and you've heard me bitch about this all weekend, but I will say sleeping in these hotel beds compared to the twin-sized brick that I slept on for one night.
Yeah.
Way better.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it was hard. And I also, so folks at home, Brian has heard this already, but I got an Airbnb, $40 a night, getting what I paid for.
$40 a night?
Yeah.
Fuck.
And I don't like supporting Airbnb, but I was out of options if I didn't want to pay $500 a night. So I went with this, and just from the get-go, the lady was so aggro with me. So there are a ton of rules, and I messaged her hey, your house is, beautiful, which was a lie. Looking forward to staying there, blah, blah, blah. And the first thing she says in response is, okay, did you read the rules? And then she wanted me to read them again. Anyway, so these rules were reiterated. And then there was a printout on the door of my room, and I'm going to read my favorite rule.
Oh, this is a good one.
And this first sentence is bolded and underlined. You must wear full clothing when not in the bedroom or the bathroom. Under no circumstances do you run from the bathroom to the bedroom or vice versa without being fully dressed. You will be asked to leave immediately. I will know. Be bolded, underlined. Police will be called and will get a video of you in a towel or naked. The living room and hallways are a shared space and they will arrest you for indecent exposure. You are not the only person here. Bolded, underlined. No one wants to see that.
I will know there are several crazy things in there. I will are there cameras?
Yes, not in the room itself.
Oh, there are cameras?
Yes, with audio and video, which she made sure to emphasize. But
I didn't realize that. That's awful.
Yeah, and I thought that I don't know, maybe she would stop being aggro because I messaged her when the plane landed saying hey, I'm going to be a little bit late. Our flight just got in. And then she was like, hold on, this booking is for one person only. If you have two people, you need to contact Airbnb and go somewhere else. And it was like, Jesus Christ.
I was not the only person on the plane. Wow.
Yeah. I was using a royal we.
Yeah.
I'm sure all of those rules come from, I'm sure that shit has actually happened.
Oh, I'm sure.
But if it's
some naked guy was just walking through the Airbnb at some point and freaked someone out, for sure.
But if it's that miserable, maybe don't be a fucking landlord, bro. Get a real job.
Also, will that note deter someone who's determined to be naked publicly?
It just made me, as an anxious person, incredibly anxious. There was a lot of do not message me from the hours of 10 to 9. If you have trouble getting in, that's your problem. If you do not lock the door behind you, I will charge you extra money.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
No, that's awful.
Yeah.
That's a bad Airbnb.
Very much so, yeah.
The idea, it said no towel either, right?
No towel?
Didn't it say you must be...
You can't be out in a towel, yeah.
Maybe I'm in a minority here. I think it's okay if you're walking from a bathroom to your bedroom.
Oh, do you want to know how close the bathroom is to the bedroom?
Yes.
It's one of those ends of a hallway where it's like an L where the bedroom doors are, and then across from this one is the bathroom.
So it's right there.
It's right there, yeah. Is
there a camera pointing at the hallway?
Yes, and the general living area. And
amazing.
Yeah,
I will know.
I discovered today as I moved my stuff into this hotel that I accidentally took a washcloth that she put in the room with the towel.
Oh, Leighton.
And I am just praying to God she doesn't notice.
Can you bring it back?
I'm not bringing it back. Fuck this lady.
There's a pretty good chance she counts towels.
Well, yeah, if she figures it out and be like, okay, let me Venmo you the $2 for the shittiest washcloth I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I'm not, paying for another lift to go back and to drop off a goddamn towel.
I feel like they try to fuck you with that sometimes. I stayed at an Airbnb in Toronto last summer when I was up there for a recording session, and they had these little plants. And it was in a pot, tiny cactus, maybe a 2-inch by 2-inch pot. I knocked one off a shelf and broke it. Okay, well, being a upstanding moral human, I messaged the host and said, look, I broke your cactus. And said, I'm happy to pay for it. How much do you think the guy charged me for?
$100.
No, $25 for a small cactus in a pot. That thing cost $5, maybe.
Max, yeah.
Maybe. And I was like, fucking whatever. I paid it, but then, you feel like, I shouldn't have been honest about it. I never would have noticed if I had said something, but I would have felt bad.
Yeah, if this lady was a little bit nicer to me, I probably would have returned it, and I don't want it. It is as crap. Everything in the room, as crappy as could possibly be.
Yeah.
So
it's a shitty Airbnb.
Very shitty Airbnb, but that's what I get for using Airbnb. So joke's on me.
But I feel like we should talk about Creator Clash. We don't actually have a lot of time before. I think the shuttle leaves in 15 minutes.
Oh shit! But yeah, I don't know. I've never seen live fighting before.
No, me neither.
And I'm very excited to see our friends hit each other in the face really hard. I was in the front row of the press conference and the weigh-in yesterday.
I was going to ask you to talk about that because I wasn't there because I was sound checking.
A lot of shit talking. Everybody seemed very excited to be there. I want to see these people fuck each other up, but in a safe and controlled way, I want to smell the blood in the air.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm going to be attending in the ninja costume.
That's really a questionable choice. I respect the artistic decision, but it seems like suffocate-y.
Yeah, I've worn that thing so often on stage. Yeah, I'm excited. There's so many people who are fighting. Hearing them talk about it, it's been great. And I assume you don't want to talk about what you're doing after Creator Clash?
I won't say where, but me and a bunch of the other gamers who are here, bad grammar, whatever, are going to the beach for a week.
I thought that was fine grammar.
Thanks. Thanks.
I reject people who reject me.
You know, I respect that. I don't like people who reject me either. That's why I can't use dating apps. But yeah, so we're gearing up to go do that, and it will be very fun. And Aaron's brother Nate will be there, along with some of our other friends. And I love Aaron's brother. He's the
I was going to say,
coolest.
Nate rules. We're on a Discord with him, and occasionally are like chatting on Discord, but I'd never met the guy in person, and he's just so great. Such a funny, sweet, kind guy.
Earnest,
I really like him. Just immediate good vibes.
So funny watching like people interact with him for the first time, and he's just gets along with everybody.
Yeah, he's very friendly.
The first time I met him was like years ago. He and his now wife came and we did karaoke, and he did Hell by Squirrel Nut Zippers.
Oh, okay.
Respect the shit out of that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been really fun hanging out with him. And we've hung out with him a lot in the last 2 days.
48 hours?
Almost all the time.
Yeah.
We can talk about the flight out here a little bit. A lot of us were on the LAX to Tampa flight on
indeed.
Thursday. Saw a lot of friends. I got on the plane. 2 rows behind me was Mika Burton, and I didn't know she was going to be on the flight. It was awesome to see her. Jarvis was sitting literally directly behind me.
Oh, wow.
And so
giving
us
us some psychic energy.
Yeah, just super, super nice dude. And then randomly, other friends would just walk by and be like, "Oh,
yeah."
It was
I mean,
so great.
this whole being at the hotel, and it's just like constantly running into friends, and it's awesome.
Yeah. I didn't expect to see her. Jack Douglas.
I know.
Ran past him yesterday. I think this is the only thing I've ever been at with that concentration of like YouTube friends.
Yes, it's great. People I haven't seen in years, and it's
Matt
just
and Marisha.
Those two, I think, are maybe the 2 best huggers of all time.
And just the nicest people.
Yeah, Matt has a sick manicure. If you see him again, check out his nails.
Okay.
You hold a magnet above magnetized nail polish, and it gives it like a galaxy metallic look.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I need to do something about my cuticles. I have cuticle issues.
You do some cuticle oil on them?
I don't know what that is.
Oh, that's the way. If you have cuticle issues, you just do a little
I
dab
don't
on
know.
it.
I noticed they've been peeling back a little bit. The last time I got a manicure, can you guess the last time I got a manicure?
2005.
Close. 2007 for my wedding.
Wow. Yeah. Let's see. We've had some food together on this trip.
Yes, this may be the most time we've ever spent together.
Yeah.
Because it was like when we started, I was like, oh my God, we're doing this in person. When was the last time we did a podcast thing in person? It's been a while. Yeah, it's great. We hung out for 20 seconds in the airport, but then dinner and Twerp show and everything.
We went to this amazing Hungarian ?
Romanian. The family was Romanian.
Okay, yeah. Romanian restaurant, and it was so fucking good.
Chanta, I'll give him a shout out in Tampa. Did you hear what the hostess was saying?
About her family?
Yeah, so she's like, that's my cousin working over there, and these are my grandparents' recipes, and my dad's in the kitchen, and it was so good. We ordered a lot of different stuff on the menu, and, when I think of what am I going to eat in Tampa, Romanian is not the first choice that pops out, but it was awesome.
Yeah, the little eggplant spread I put it on the cheesy bread with a little bruschetta, and I don't like mushrooms, but those stuffed mushrooms were amazing.
I had lamb chops, which was awesome. Waitress was like, this is my grandfather's recipe. You'll never have them any other way. It was awesome. And just cool people. To be honest, I was a little on the fence about coming. I was excited, but I was like, I don't know. It's a 20,000 person arena. I assume I'm going to get COVID again from this. But yeah, I mean, I had it semi recently, so hopefully I have enough antibodies left from that plus vaccine. But whatever. I was like, you know what? Acceptable risk. And now having come here, I'm thrilled to be here.
Yeah. As always, it's just like fucking amazing to see Twerp and get to hang out with them. Like, those guys are some of my favorite people, as we've said a million times on this show, but
they are,
we see them so rarely.
My favorite thing with Twerp, in general, actually, not just with Twerp, but whenever I see a friend performing and they do something they think is funny and it doesn't land, I love it because I always think it's funny.
Yes, every single thing they say
is the best.
Kills me.
Phobos
is one of the funniest fucking people.
That's so funny, and you guys don't know him in person. He is very understated as a human being, and he just drops these comedy bombs all the time. He's incredible. Oh, I love watching Twerp bomb because I'm always like, why the fuck didn't they laugh at that?
Yeah,
That was
a good
funny.
bit.
That was a good joke. Come on, guys. They're just the best. It was so fun to see them perform again. And they're trying out new stuff. You know, I got to hear a bunch of songs for the first time. And it's fun to hear new and old songs with those guys because they're incredible. Temperature in that fucking club, though. Oh my god.
Yeah, as we mentioned, it's Satan's armpit in here.
What do you think the temperature is outside right now, lady?
86 is my guess.
Close, 89.
Yo!
Look at that.
Got him.
Does it say the humidity, though?
Max.
Unacceptable.
Yeah. And what are we doing tomorrow?
48%. What are we doing tomorrow? I don't know. So there's a gala at night that we're invited to. But beyond that, I don't know. I could be talked into stuff.
So the thing that I very desperately want to do is I want to round up all the gamers and go to Waffle House.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the fancy steak place.
We were not able to get a reservation for Burns, which is a bummer. But yes, let's all go to Waffle House because the last time I had it was MomoCon 2018.
Oh wow!
And it's one of the things that I miss.
Is there? I mean, this is a stupid question.
There's one nearby. Yeah,
let's go to Waffle House.
There's also a Steak and Shake, and I know a lot of people shit on Steak and Shake, but
I'm not a fan.
It's a nostalgia thing for me. I think whenever I came here as a kid, going to the Dali Museum, that place fucking rips, but I think it's
I'd like to
closer to St. Petersburg.
Why is there a Dali Museum here? Did he live here?
I don't know, but it's like one of the coolest.
It's half an hour drive.
Yeah, good luck with that lift. One of the coolest art museum because they have so many of the ones that he like spent a year on, and they're taller than this room is.
That's cool. I would like to see that. I've never been to St. Petersburg. I know it's not too far. Maybe someday.
The gala should be fun though. I've got a cute little thing figured out, but then we have to go get on the plane straight from the gala, and we've committed.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
Like when's your flight?
I don't know.
But it's at night after.
But it's at night.
Oh my god.
Midway through, so we're just committing to staying dressed up.
Oh, you are on the flight?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Why not?
That's great.
I don't dress up that much a lot because it's like a real red carpet situation, which.
What are you wearing? Sorry, who are you wearing?
I am wearing a Zara dress. It's like a very pretty teal with some like gold hardware on it. It's nice.
This is not the one you wore to the event last summer, or it is?
No, I did not have it. That one was from Fashion Nova, which I think it fell apart after I washed it. Do you have a fit for gala?
I am deciding.
Okay.
So I do. It's a blue suit, but I'm half debating going in the white suit.
Yes, that's what I was going to suggest. I think you should do that.
Yeah.
And keep the sunglasses on. I have a pair of white sunglasses if you want to borrow them.
I feel like Trey's got a look.
Trey does have a look. It's true.
That look is, well, and one thing actually, here, I'll get this out because I don't think you can necessarily see this on stage last night. By the way, we're pulling the curtain back. I'm Trey Magnifique.
Shock and awe.
Can you see that there's like kind of a noticeable stain here, which I only noticed when I pulled this out to wear it. It actually is better than it was, but it's definitely there.
What's it from?
Who the fuck knows?
Great.
So Rachel thought it was like a very large makeup stain, which is, it was probably pressed against something in a suitcase on tour, or this thing has not been washed in a while.
Oh, neat. I think that makes sense. Like Trey's unique brand of funk.
This is the blue.
It's very like dad at a country club.
Yes.
White suit all the way.
One idea I had for the white suit is to never wash it and just let it get grayer and worse and grosser over time. Much like the career of a musician.
I've been repeatedly calling myself a middling game developer this weekend.
Which of the Trey bits, the non-musical bits, did you like?
I really liked the Sagittarius bit.
Thank you.
And your refusal to let it go.
Yeah, so that bit is, I dedicate a song to the memory of my smooth jazz mentor, Sagittarius Crisco, which always gets a laugh. And then anytime someone laughs, I start over. And I keep building it out. it does my favorite thing, which is goes on too long past the point where people are enjoying it.
Yeah, and alienates the audience.
Yes. Which it definitely, like, people stopped actually laughing at some point.
Yeah.
Which was...
Mutual accountability. Hard to get a crowd to do that.
What they did do, and this was a gamble, I've never done this before. I said, it's great to be here in, and then paused, and then someone screamed Tampa. I said Tampa. I was hoping that would work.
Wow.
And it definitely did.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Should we stop here and do some sort of debrief tomorrow so we can share our thoughts on
I think that sounds great. Yeah. So we'll stop here, and we'll be back after the event.
And see you on the other side.
Bye.
All right, so we're currently in a posse walking back from Creator Clash.
What's up?
It's over.
We got a Vernon. We got a Brian. We got a
Brent.
Wow. Incredible.
Our boy won.
Our boy fucking won.
God. Thank God.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel so much better now.
We're on the streets of Tampa.
And it's fucking wet.
I'm sorry, what was the humidity again?
85%. Right
Max.
now. 76 degrees, 85% humidity.
We wanted this to be a little anthology of the weekend.
We had a great night. Saw lots of friends.
Yes.
Those who won. Those who didn't, kicked their ass.
I was right about Aaron. I was right about Ethan.
Ethan
looks so
amazing.
good. I'm so proud of Ethan.
He
Yeah,
really did
amazing. Alana, fucking
Alana
incredible.
Hung in there, dude. Fucking
Yeah,
nailed it.
Marisha had a great
Haley.
fight.
Haley, a
Marisha
fucking
was-
beast.
But Marisha was also incredible in that fight.
Yeah, dude. She
Yeah.
didn't back down, man.
Nope.
She didn't back down.
Everybody should be incredibly proud of themselves. Like, it's just such a... we all cried when Aaron won.
Yeah, it was messy. It was maybe like the purest moment of bliss I've had in literal years.
Yeah, it was awesome. Fun night, lots of friends. Met some new ones or people
Indeed.
I knew.
There was a cheese board.
I met Kill Bill the rapper for the first time.
Oh, that guy rules.
His music rules. I'd never met him in person before. Sweetheart of a dude. Hung out with Rav a little bit.
Love that guy.
Great guy.
I love that guy.
Also, great music.
Incredible fashion sense. Short king. What the fuck? Oh, sorry, everybody. That was just a bird scooter skidding to
doing
a
the
stop,
Akira
like the
slide,
goddamn
yeah.
Akira slide. Anyway, so we're almost back at the hotel, and we're gonna do a party or whatever. So, like, fuck podcasting. See you on tomorrow.
Okay.
See ya. All right, say bye.
All right, bye. Well, we're live here in Leighton and Vernon's hotel room. And Vernon, what position are you in right now?
I was in downward dog, and now I'm lying face down on the bed.
I believe that's called the worm.
I'm a little what's the word?
Yoked.
Tired.
Oh, that too.
I'm a little tired. Last night was a lot, boys.
Yeah, so last time we yacked at you was before the event. And we are now, it is Sunday morning.
Well,
Actually,
there's a clip
Sunday
directly
afternoon.
after the event.
Oh, that's true. That's right. That we have a brief walk clip I forgot about.
Yeah, we were all wore out though, and mostly adrenaline shook.
Wore up and tore up.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. What did you guys think of the show? Was that insane or what?
Wait, so you're talking about the Trey Magnifique show?
Well, okay, let's start with Trey Magnifique and then we'll move to
Which we already did. I'm
Clash.
kidding. I am just so overwhelmed by what a great event this was. It is, there's so many ways you could try to do this and have it be awful,
Yeah.
right? I don't want to drop any names, Jake Paul, Logan Paul, that kind of thing, where it feels more about the people, you know what I mean? Like it feels like an ego trip.
Yeah.
And maybe, of course, my knowledge of this is tarnished by knowing the actual people, Elden Ring reference. But it really felt like people were kind of doing this as a community, watching the fighters fight and then give each other huge hugs at the
Yeah.
end in a genuine way was amazing.
This whole event's felt like a weird family reunion of especially a ton of people I haven't seen since before pandemic, and
Yes.
getting to see them
Yes.
after all these years has been just truly like it's a nice reminder that like I have friends, right?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
kind of feels like we all died and went to heaven, and all our buddies are here, and you can
Yeah.
see dogs, and we're having fun.
Yeah, it's so great to see people. I met a bunch of new people, saw some old friends, people I haven't seen in 5 years. A lot of the, Grumps crew, Grumps RGT crew came out. Ross was here.
Yeah.
It was great to see him.
Matt and
Ryan, who do, by the way, amazing job with that national anthem. In many ways, they are like my heroes for the stuff that they make and how prolific they are and how low their bar is. Which I mean as a compliment. Like, so much of what I do is produced and we take forever and it takes a year, blah, blah, blah. They have a cool idea and they do it. Some of the stuff, of course, they spend a longer time on, but I wish I had that level of idea to execution they have and drive. Yeah.
Can we have a quick conversation about Aaron Hansen's performance?
Yes, I would. That's mainly what I wanted to do. So, Vernon, you know more about boxing than I ever planned to. Let's talk about that fight.
Yeah, okay. I think I mentioned this last time we were talking, but I used to box back in college, and it was just one of those skill sets that kind of just kept in the back pocket and never talked about and never really had any use for until last year when Aaron told me he was training for Creator Clash 1, and I helped him train up for the Harley fight. That went a certain way. So proud of my boy. But ever since then, he's been, working out 6 days a week since that first one. Like, it's been insane seeing his transformation. And these last couple months, I've been his training and sparring partner. I had to learn to box southpaw for any boxing enthusiasts out there. And I'm not.
That means left-handed.
Yeah, so I had to learn that to sort of simulate what fighting Jarvis would be like. And we put a lot of work in. And seeing Aaron at the beginning of this journey at Creator Clash 1. And seeing the skill set that he had and the things that he needed to work on for the next time, it is really, really remarkable to see just what he was able to pull off against Jarvis last night.
Truly.
The big issue was in the beginning, you get walloped and then you turn away from the punch. That's like the natural human predilection for when someone is attacking you, and it's something that you have to do a lot of work to sort of get around. But
why don't you want to turn away from the punch? Doesn't that minimize the impact?
Oh, because then the next punch comes, right?
The second punch.
Yeah, that's the saying in boxing. It's the punches you don't see that hurt the most.
I see. So if you turn away, you can't see what's coming.
Exactly. Yeah. So a lot of the training you do, especially in the beginning levels of boxing, is just to get rid of the flinch reflex that happens when someone is punching you.
Yeah.
So you literally just stand there and have someone tap you in the face until you stop blinking when they do it. But, Aaron's been at this for well over a year at this point, and I think it really shows in the Jarvis fight that Jarvis came out swinging real hard.
I don't know anything about boxing.
No, we just didn't expect that to happen.
Yeah.
If you want me to put on, my little fight commentator
yes,
hat.
Please.
Yes.
I think Jarvis had a hand he could play, and he played it to, the best of his abilities, where I think he knew that he didn't have the gas in his tank to go all 5 rounds. So his strategy was to overwhelm Aaron as quickly and as forcefully as possible.
Yeah.
And we saw him really pull that off in that first round where he just fucking swung.
And I remember at the beginning of that fight, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, there was a stumble.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit.
My fucking heart was in my throat when that happened. But Aaron, to his credit, after all that training, he would get popped by Jarvis in this flurry of attacks. And instead of turning away, he would fire back.
Yep.
And I think that made all the difference in his ability to win the fight, in that he wouldn't back down from Jarvis.
Yeah.
So Jarvis played his hand. He tried to overwhelm Aaron with a flurry. Aaron counteracted that, and then Jarvis ran out of cards to play, right? I was in Aaron's corner. I was one of his cornermen, and we were between rounds, and I looked over to Jarvis's corner, and he was just sucking in air. He looked like that was all he had. And then the second round ended how it ended, and Aaron had a game plan. He trained to that game plan, and the game plan succeeded. And I'm just so proud of that guy's success.
Let me ask you a few questions. Do you think that was Jarvis's strategy? That was not just 100%. A spur. Okay, that's what I assumed.
100%.
So it was come in hard, try to get him right away.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't work, well, then we go on from there.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was something they trained to do.
I would assume so. Absolutely. Because seeing him between rounds, there you got that sense that was we tried it. That was it. And it ended pretty shortly thereafter.
Yeah.
But, being in Aaron's corner and seeing him, sitting on the stool, looking relatively calm for the circumstances, especially after having, withstood a beatdown.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron had a game plan. And
I know he was way more zen about it this year than he was last
year. That was the absolute funniest part about this, is that, I really got to see Aaron go through the 5 stages of grief as it pertains to boxing. I've been doing boxing for a while now. I don't like it. I think boxing is bad. I think boxers are bad people. I include myself in that.
Wait, hold on. Newsflash. Vernon thinks he's a bad person.
Wow.
Surprise.
Do you happen to be Catholic?
Yes, just in.
I'm really sorry for that one thing. All of us Catholics did that one time. Anyway, it was really fun. It was really fun when Aaron first started boxing. It was so much fun because I just got to show up and slap my homie around and be like, oh no, stop hitting me. And I'm like, why are you hitting yourself?
Yeah.
It was so great. And then he trains like Rocky for a year. And then I started working out with him. And every time I drove to practice, I would sit in my car for a little bit and then like play really loud music and then think about how much I didn't want to do this. And every day it felt like I was walking to my funeral. And after every practice, I left it and it was like I had a new lease on life for another 24 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you were, messaging me like, I'm terrified of Aaron now.
Well, he's a big fucking guy.
Yeah.
And he put on so much mass.
Yeah, and the thing was, man, like, now that he's gotten better, I kind of have to fight him like a Dark Souls boss.
Yeah.
I have to like roll in, like hit him once, and then roll out, and then spend the rest of the time running away from him. And that was the big night and day difference from like training for the Harley fight than with this fight is that I used to be able to pop Aaron, he would flinch, and then I would punish, right?
Yeah.
And now I pop Aaron, and then he immediately fired back. So
it's great.
So the way I had to fight him was I would have to stick him, and then I would have to move immediately afterward.
Yeah.
So looking at the footage and looking at the stills that were caught from that, like, that dude just has like defensive responsibility now. Like when he throws a punch, he makes sure to keep his other hand up by his chin to protect himself from a counter punch.
Yeah, and that took a while. I know he was like not doing that.
Because the instinct is to punch and then drop.
Yeah, well, like you sort of forget about what your other hand is doing while you're punching, right?
Not me. My other hand's always busy.
When really, like, it's, again, the punches you don't see that hurt the most. So it's that defensive responsibility that keeps you safe while you're punching.
Yeah.
And I don't know, Aaron had great form, man. And I'm just really, 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 really impressed with his showing at this go-around.
Yeah. Let's talk about some of the other, what do they say, matches on the card?
Yeah.
Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Well, I want to talk about Harley.
Yeah, that's the standout for me. I mean, last year watching Aaron fight, I mean, I just like viscerally hated Harley during that fight just because he was clobbering our boy.
Because there's also such a difference, just in stature.
So, I mean, he is a big guy, but this year was rooting for him so hard. I mean, going like he was the underdog in that situation, going against
100%.
a wrestling champion.
Even if Harley had 6 inches and 30 pounds, or 5 inches and 30 pounds on the guy, or whatever it was, he still felt like the underdog because one guy is a pro athlete and a heavyweight champion, and Harley, despite being a big, strong guy, is not that.
The thing was,
eats food.
I had my money on Harley for that fight that entire time, simply based off of the fact that when we walked into the hotel, I saw John Morrison doing pad work with someone, and he wasn't engaging the scapula, boys. See, when you throw a right cross, you get an extra bit of range and an extra bit of power if you whip back your left shoulder while you throw your right hand out.
Oh, I see. And he wasn't doing it.
Yeah, and that's generally how I can tell, like, baseline of a boxer's level if they've gotten past that point where they understand that the right cross is a full body punch, right?
Yeah.
Not just the twisting of the hips and the throwing of the arm, but the whipping back of the shoulder. So I saw that, and, I saw Harley's showcase last year where, he went into it with a plan, like, every time Aaron got close to him, Harley would clinch, and he would use his jab hand and extend it outwards to act as a sort of like poster frame that would prevent punches from coming through. But we saw him try that at the beginning of the first round, sticking out a hand as far in front of him as possible,
which is
prevent John
pretty
from
fucking
getting
far.
Yeah, which is really, really far, and like a really difficult thing for like a shorter man to get into. But it seems like John rattled him really, really early.
Yeah, and like continually pushing against the ropes, like, and to the point where
Harley fell out.
Yes, and that was a crazy fucking moment.
Yes.
I just like the mood in the room. I guess the thing that doesn't get communicated with the live stream is just the vibe.
Yeah,
just deafening in there.
And when you're close enough to the ring,
wear ear protection.
The clouds of spit and the copper of the blood, and you hear those, skin on skin hits.
I don't think you could have scripted a better fight than that.
No, it was amazing. The cameraman getting poked and like the feed going up. I mean,
absolutely.
It was also, speaking about the vibe in the room, I thought it was very interesting that pretty much with every fight, you could feel which way the room was going. And it was usually for one fighter over the other. In the Harley case, it was obviously Harley.
Yeah.
And when John won, the applause was, shall we say, tepid. When there's 20,000 people and it sounds like...
Yeah.
Like, obviously, everyone thought he deserved to win and did. But people were not thrilled about that.
Yeah. I mean, Harley getting through it. I mean, getting thrown off and still going.
Facing a champion of that. I mean, look at that guy. Like, John, that guy, as you noticed.
Built like a brick shithouse.
Yes. I mean, just full muscle.
But that's the thing. Like, with boxing, like, I've seen so many instances of, like, chiseled fucking dudes not knowing how to
Thank
box.
you. I don't like to brag. But,
yeah. Brian, slow down. It's quit. Like, put your shirt back on.
Never.
But yeah, like, that's the tale as old as time, where a guy who looks super buff doesn't have the sort of like dexterous ability to be a boxer
or the strategy.
Like, they're two completely different skill sets. Even like putting a wrestler into a boxing situation, you generally see the wrestler like be like, there are some translatable skills between the sports, but it's kind of apples and oranges, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I saw that and I thought Harley, who had been learning how to box for longer than John Morrison had an advantage there. But I also think that there was like a psychological game that got played with Harley where he got popped early. He was afraid of a wrestler, and when that happens, you see a lot of form go out the window. So if you watch if you watch the replay of that video, when you box, the goal is always to lower your center of gravity while you're moving, while you're throwing punches. Kind of the term that they say is called sitting down in the saddle, right? Like
Vernon is physically demonstrating.
I'm physically like sitting down, but so I don't think this is going to be an interesting picture. I'm just kind of crouching down a little bit, like I was halfway through the animation of a character going into stealth mode. Yeah.
Great.
But
we're not posting this. It's just Vernon slightly crashing.
That one's for your personal collection.
My personal use.
But I believe you can see in that footage, after Harley gets rattled, he kind of stands straight up and then he loses his footwork ability.
Oh, really? Okay. Cool.
Yeah, which is exactly where a shorter fighter wants you to be, because at that point you're not able to get leverage on your punches when you throw them. And then you give a shorter fighter more real estate to move in closer to you and fire their shots.
I see.
So what put Harley down was a really, really like textbook beautiful right cross straight down the punch lane into Harley's chin. Mm-hmm. I got a lot of respect for John Morrison, man. Like, that guy really absolutely showcased some like good boxing ability.
Good. Okay. Well, I'm surprised to hear that. Part of me was wondering if he would just coast on his existing skill set, which I guess he didn't do, which is great.
No, I've seen a lot of wrestlers be bad at boxing, man.
I want to talk about the murder that we witnessed, which was Nathan.
Oh my God.
That was the one I was most nervous for, because like I know those two, like after seeing the AB Hundar fight last year.
So what happened with that one?
I don't know. AB wouldn't back down. Like,
and he won?
No, he lost, but he lost after going the distance. They went all 5 rounds.
And also, Hundar looked so fucking cool in that fight, like his whole fit.
Yeah, and AB knocked Hundar down, I believe, in the final round last year. And I truly believe AB had a lot more to show this go around, but I was talking to Nathan earlier, and he went into it with strategy, right? He was like, I'm going body shots, I'm specifically liver hunting, which is kind of a hard thing.
Liver hunting?
Yeah. Which is a hard thing to do as a southpaw, right? Nathan's left-handed, so he boxed with his right hand out in front. Your liver is on the right side of your body, just below your floating rib cage, like on the side of you.
And Vernon knows this because Aaron hit him, and then he couldn't box for 9 months.
That was it. That was a rib. It's a long story, but my ribs are fine now. But so when you box southpaw, you're literally presenting your liver to your opponent, right?
That's hot.
Yeah, right. But also
Hannibal style.
Your opponent, like AB, is right-handed, so his liver is as far away from Nathan as you can get.
Yeah.
So Nathan had a really bold strategy to like attempt a precision shot on AB's liver, but he succeeded somewhere in the middle of the round, and then from there you could tell that like AB was just kind of in protection mode.
Yeah.
Valiantly made it to the end of that round, and then unfortunately had to quit on the stool. Liver shots aren't a joke. It's probably one of the worst pains you can feel. Yeah. It's actually really, really fun anatomy, right? Because like somehow evolutionarily our livers just kept growing to the point where it grew past the rib cage that was there to protect it. Mm. So just below the floating ribs, there's just like a cluster of nerve cells.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, that's when it gets struck by a blow like that, it sends a pain signal to your brain that like paralyzes you from the waist down. Mm. Right,
that's interesting. First of all, I love that Nathan sprinted.
Yeah,
his showmanship.
Amazing.
Oh God, it's beautiful.
That guy's a total showman. He really gets it. Loved calling out the WWE.
That was
at the end of that.
Actually, hilarious.
I want to talk about my favorite moments.
From
the night. Yeah. That was definitely one of them. Mm. What did he say? You have my you sent me a contract. I have the contract.
It's
signed. I think that's great. What else? William Haynes thanking the Jews.
Yeah.
That was a big one for me personally.
And the hose.
And the hose, of course. What else did I like? John, what's his last name? Morrison. Name dropping the Paul brothers as being
I got no respect
fake.
For you.
Awesome. Really great.
I think I mentioned this when we were walking last night, but Marisha is awesome, and I think that was a great fight. But Haley, it was so great to see her come back from last year because I was really rooting for her last year. Minx had that height advantage and the long arm, and Haley coming back with like better form. I mean, you could just see her back muscles.
She was a really crisp boxer, and I fed Marisha Ray a hot pepper years ago on Hot Pepper Gaming, and we've been friends ever since.
Yeah, you mentioned that, yeah.
I love her so dearly.
She's the best.
Like, to her credit, she hung in there.
Yes.
Like
absolutely.
And she brought it back, too, like in the later rounds. I mean, she was getting pops in.
Speaking of the rounds, so in between the rounds, they would show, like, percentages of blows landed. Mm-hmm. When they're scoring the match, is that what they're basing that on, or that's just a separate thing?
Boxing scoring is a really subjective thing. What they do is they generally put 3 judges on either sides of the ring, so everyone's viewing it from a different angle.
One judge on...
Yeah.
There's 3 judges on...
There's 3 judges of the rings, right?
Each judge is on a different side.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, and so like they all view kind of a different fight, so it can be like sort of subjective.
Yeah, because it's hard to see what lands sometimes.
Yeah, but generally I think all of the decisions were pretty spot on, with the exception of, I personally believe Vidubs deserved a draw. I thought he won those last 2 rounds.
It was really close, too.
Yeah. I think Ian had like a really, really rough first round, while Alex Wasabi had all of the gas in his tank and was like throwing really, really crisp, what are called check left hooks, which is you wait for your opponent to move in on side of you on a punch, like throwing a punch at you, and while that punch is coming in, you step back and throw out your left hook to catch them as they're coming in. Mm-hmm. And Alex had really, really textbook perfect and very fast versions of those punches. But you could tell that he used up most of his energy in that first round trying to like do that dominant display.
Yeah.
And Ian, to his credit, that guy has like fucking heart of a lion, man. If I was getting popped like that in the first round, like I don't know if I could get off the stool. That was terrifying.
I think I said this to you guys last night, but just like Ian really looks his best when he is super beat up. Like, I don't know, he rocks it so well, and it really just is very endearing to see him covered in sweat and blood. It's something about the stash and the mullet, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Really quickly, can we talk about Ethan's fight?
Oh, yeah, that was another one that I was
very proud of.
I am so proud of that dude. I sparred with him maybe about 3 months ago. Like, he had a lot of stuff to work on in those last 3 months. I believe specifically, like, his head movement wasn't really there when I was sparring them. He didn't have a lot of lateral movement in his footwork, so most of his attacks would come in sort of like imagine like a game of Street Fighter, right, where you're just moving in and out on a 2-dimensional plane. And a lot of his punches were... The setups for his combos would come off of a jab specifically. So all of his combinations would start with a kind of a predictable punch. But in those 3 months, it looks like he fixed literally all of those problems And he walked out into that ring with stellar head movement, with a phenomenal punch selection. Like, the punch that put Leonhardt down was an overhand right, which I thought was beautiful. So, I don't know, man, like, a boxing match is won outside of the ring in the training beforehand.
Yeah.
And seeing how much Ethan was working out, I truly believe, like, that made all the difference in his boxing ability.
That's a guy who, you know, I've known Ethan, or I should say we've known each other a long time. And I remember him just as a baby creator, you know, coming up kind of when he was first doing stuff with Mark, and just seeing how far he has come. I mean, that's been a long time now. Personally,
creatively, socially,
the whole thing, everything. You know, I feel like I saw a kid grow up.
Yeah.
I can obviously claim no credit for anything. I barely was involved in anything he did, even though we've done a few things together here and there. But just seeing this guy really come into his own, that felt palpable last night. And it's like, oh, there's my friend, and he's kicking ass. Like, he's doing so great.
There was like a lot of that.
I loved
mean,
it.
there was just so much heart, you know, watching, because it's a bunch of people who like got that dog in them and they got something to prove. Like, I don't think I would be as interested in watching traditional boxing, because there's just something about
that's right.
people who have had to train very hard to get to this point.
Yeah. And one thing I like about it too is, you know, I think there's this public perception of YouTubers as, oh, they just fucking, you know, record a video and then put it out. They're so like lazy idiots who wants to watch someone play video games. And everything we saw on display last night was people who worked for months, if not years, on this one goal. And it completely belies all these perceptions of what people who do what we do are actually like.
Yeah.
The successful ones are successful for a reason.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know, it's interesting because, you guys hear me talk about boxing all the time. I just think it's a dangerous sport. It's a really, really scary
It's a reason I will never do it.
Fucking, like, I don't know, man. Like, it's not a game, but I think to Creator Clash's credit, like, the organizers, Ian and Nisa, like, all the Real Good Touring guys, like, everybody who helped put this on, they were very dedicated to making sure each one of the fights was, like, fairly matched.
Yes.
Right? And no matter, like, what level of boxing you are, like, in a fairly matched fight, what makes the difference between the fighters, if they're training for the same amount of time, the big differentiating factor is heart.
Yep.
Is courage. So, like, I think in a lot of these fights, we were able to see a bunch of YouTubers who were showcasing, like, how much they wanted it.
Right.
And how hard they were willing to work to get it. And I think that, I don't know, man, I think that's a testament to a lot of these guys and the reason why they're as successful as they are, because they have a lot of heart and they put a lot of heart into what they do.
Yeah. Another thing that's interesting to me is, you know, I imagine for professional fighters, you have a lot of data on your opponents, right? You can watch match after match after match and kind of see where their strengths are, blah, blah, blah. Here, people are working with essentially nothing. Right. So,
which is scary, man.
Which is scary.
Especially
you don't know what you're going to get.
For like Haley, for example, I think she's been very on top of the psyop of like giving nothing, nothing other than like maybe a vague nervous energy, and then coming out like a beast.
Yeah.
Which and I can't stress this enough. Like, wonderful form. So it's like truly, truly good form on Haley. Like,
and I've spent the past year hearing Vernon shit talk various boxers' forms, and have had to watch Vernon giving commentary about what the shit form is. And
we get an email after every episode of the podcast with extensive notes.
Yeah. To that point, Michelle versus Andrea, like, two people who look like actual boxers out of there. Like, I was deeply impressed with specifically Andrea's form, because, like, she had longer legs and she was able to, like, develop a stronger base by kind of, like, leaving herself with a wider stance. And I think that was a close match, and I would love to see both of those guys fight again.
Speaking of that, one person I never want to be in the sights of is Alana Pierce.
Yeah.
Watching her eyes was just like, it's like this resolve, which is like, oh my God, she is like in it.
Yeah.
And that was amazing.
Somebody sitting behind me referred to it as raptor mode.
Yeah. It's like Rachel was telling me she watched the weigh-in, and she's like, you know, Alana comes up and, you know, it's before the weigh-in. She's like, you know, it's Alana just being Alana. And then she like flexes, and Rachel was like, oh my God.
Yeah. Her
what?
Fucking biceps, dude.
Yeah. I had the honor of working out with her for a session or two, and just helping her specifically with that like flinch mechanic, right? Of like, she literally just asked me to throw a bunch of punches at her so she could like develop her defense.
Yeah.
And she, again, like, she went into it with defensive responsibility. like her hands were always up. Mika's too, for that matter.
Mika was great also. Absolutely.
Like two people actually agreed to spar with Mika in like there's a gala after this where we all had to put on like nice clothes.
And
I agreed to spar with Mika at the gala, so that'll be fun and terrifying.
Yeah, and both Mika and Lana, sturdily built humans.
Yeah.
Like they are
Jesus
not
Christ.
slight people.
Yeah,
like, muscular, very strong.
I guess the takeaway from training with Alana was that like I would have her punch me a couple times, and they were just like crisp, hard punches. Like I was a little terrified.
Yeah.
Also, she wins best hair. I feel like she was really pulling off the braids.
100%, yeah.
I think that's probably a good place to wrap this up. I don't want to.
Thanks for letting me talk about boxing.
Oh no, dude!
I never
Thanks for letting us milk you for content.
Yes,
oh, happily. Whenever you guys do a boxing special, let me know. Like you literally can't get me to stop talking about boxing.
Yeah, let's do this next year.
I didn't come last year to this. I know you didn't either, Leighton.
I was I had a lot of FOMO.
Yeah, I had FOMO, and mainly, I was kind of COVID cautious.
Yeah.
I'm fully expecting to get some sort of illness this weekend. But I'm so glad I was here. The vibe in the room was just amazing. And it was great to see so many old friends and watch a really special event that far outperformed what it could have been. There's a way to do this and have it be like a bare minimum. We're just going to, YouTubers fighting, blah, blah, blah. They really did such a good job, and
it was a 20,000 person arena full of screaming gamers. And I don't know if I've ever felt an atmosphere like that in my entire life.
We know a lot of the organizers, the real good touring people personally. We spend a lot of time with them, and to
don't
watch.
Personally care for Brent.
Yeah,
you can take him or leave him. I don't
want to talk about Brent anymore. We saw what they went through to put this on. Mm-hmm. And as with any event of this size, there's ups and downs. You think you're about to do something big, and then some fucking problem comes in. It's just what happens with this sort of thing. And watching what they went through to make this happen, and I'm not even talking about the fighters. I'm talking about just the organizational insanity of making this event go. They got a bunch of YouTubers to show up on time for something, right?
Yeah.
Amazing. Nobody was late. They're all there. That has never happened before. So watching what our friends went through to make this happen and then see it come off so successfully, even though I can claim literally no credit for their actions whatsoever, I'm really proud of them. And watching Real Good Touring in particular start as a baby company with Aaron and Brent, and then an NSP being one of their first acts, along with Grumps and Jacksepticeye.
Way back in the day, we were just going like Game Grumps at Levity Live. Like there I was with a backpack with a Wii U in it.
Oh, yeah. At the Improv, watching that company come up from that to this, it's sky's the limit for those guys, and I just love them so much. So anyway, I hope you guys liked this episode. I apologize for the probably not great audio quality, but you know what?
It's authentic. It's Dogma 95.
It's Florida.
It's the end of the episode.
Yeah.
See you fuckers next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Leighton Night is produced by Brian Wecht, Leighton Gray, and Jarek Centeno. Follow us on Twitter at Leighton Night, on Instagram at Leighton_Night, or email us at leightonnight@gmail.com.